Today is November 12th, 2024, and I'm booted into Bookworm Pup64 on my computer, which I use daily, but this is actually just a fresh install mainly. I wanted to pick Bookworm Pup64 because it already has a simple screen recorder that's already installed, and the other is that it does have Synapse, which is an application launcher, makes it easy for me to show you some of the features of ROX-Filer. The tray up here, and I got rid of the con key that's over here, and I cleaned up the desktop. So otherwise, basically very similar to the fresh install of a Bookworm Pup64. Super D will toggle on and off the background. So this is so I wanted to talk first about why is, in my opinion, one of the best overlooked file manager, and then we'll go briefly into a configuration and placement of ROX-Filer window in different places on the display. So that's the plan, and let me just put this in the back now. So we'll just fire up the ROX by control spacebar, and only in Bookworm Pup64 has this feature out of the box. So we'll just go ahead and type in ROX-Filer. And although this is the default appearance, I always like to change that into smaller, and then this is at the root level. You can just a backslash will bring out that, and then Control H will toggle on and off hidden files and folders. So the other common feature in a fresh install in PuppyLinux of the ROX-Filer is the super right arrow key. We'll usually put it on the right side of the display on the super, similarly to the left with a left arrow, super and left. Super and up key will make it maximize ROX-Filer, and then super R again will go back to the default appearance, and super downward arrow will make it hide, and then again you can bring it up with the super D. And then ALT tab will bring out the other. So those are basic keyboard that's already built into ROX. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the ROX-Filer in a little bit more detail. So we'll just go ahead and close this. Minimize this, and then Control H to bring it all up, and then that's why. So I think the main thing I wanted to show you here is the ROX. There is a basic configuration file, so you just right click, and then there's options, and then what I would recommend is always resize 75%. It just means that this single ROX-Filer file manager cannot occupy more than 75% of screen real estate unless you want to maximize with a super up key. So I think the 75, in my experience, is a good compromise, and always resize. Directories come first. I think that's the usual a setup that most people prefer. I recommend that you go ahead and inherit options from source window. In other words, if you open up a ROX-Filer again, it's going to look very similar to this. So it's going to have a smaller icon, for example. So icon view, I think is I prefer to have a hidden files open or visible right away. Icon view is good. And under icon view, I prefer not the large icons, but small icons. And that's my preference, and right now we're in small icons. List view, I usually, because in in the PuppyLinux, group and owner is almost always the same, so you don't really need two of them. Tools, although ROX-Filer is a primarily program to use the mouse, I feel like that most of the time I don't need the mouse. It's much quicker with a keyboard setting. So for me, I prefer to have no toolbar, and I can do pretty much everything that with a keyboard. For example, you can see the subtle outside. You can certainly go into the startup folder and then keyboard backward. Backspace keyboard will bring it back. So and then thumbnails. Yeah, show thumbnails is a good basic initial setup. Pinboard has to do with the appearance of desktop icons and so on. So right now there's a subtle small shadows, and you can make it thicker, for example, or you can have no, it just has to do with the fonts. So thin is fine. The size of the these SDA1 and so on can be changed with this. And the other thing is, as a basic, if you like to place a icons on desktop, it's always a good idea to make it coarse. Believe me, this makes it easy for you to line up the icons. So I usually, although I don't put any icons on the desktop, it's a good idea. So iconize the windows and desktop, and then action windows. I recommend that you go ahead and start with everything all clicked. That way it'll automatically copy the recursively and so on. So, and then I think the rest of it is a sort of not that important initially. So that's how I usually set it up. Okay, so now one of the complaints about ROX-Filer, I think, is that it may not be able to configure. So for example, some people prefer to have a dual mode file manager. For example, click on downloads. So if you want a downloads, for example, to open over here, what I've done is Alt key and then left mouse will make it move. Okay, and then we have a original, let's see, ROX over here. Again, Alt, and if you want, next time you open up a root ROX-Filer, you prefer to have it open here rather than open anywhere else. What you can do is go ahead and right click and go to display and go to save current display settings, and make sure position and size and everything is all clicked, and then OK. So that means now you can actually, even at this point, you can actually memorize with a control 1, for example. So I'm gonna keyboard control and 1 I'm gonna just push right now. So now you don't see anything, but let's see, let's go over here now. This is the downloads folder. So you can see a root downloads folder that we initially created. So you want this to open here. So that similarly we can go to display again, save current settings, and OK, and then I'm gonna enter Control 2 key. Now this is active. Now what happens if I just tap with just 1 at this point without control? It's gonna go over here. So watch. So we're just gonna tap 1. So I actually have 2 here. Now I'm gonna tap 2, just a 2 key. It goes right back. So you can see that this can be a very powerful tool. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna close both of them and just open up a terminal. LX terminal is fine. And then I'm gonna give it a command of ROX, open one in the root level and then another one in downloads, and then we're gonna open it up, and then I want the terminal, this terminal to close and just leave it open. So now let's see what happens. Normally what would happen is if you didn't set that up before, what you will have is root and downloads pretty much in the same place. But because we gave it a command of display memorized into control 1 and 2, it gives some appearance of different placements. So then you can go ahead and do whatever you want. You can move the file, and we're gonna move it back, and then so I'm just simply just left mouse click and moving. Okay, so you can also see the conky RC file, which I just moved, also become bold. So I think that's I have for example not only control 1 and 2, I have up to 7 numeric keys, and as long as I have a ROX-Filer, one filer open, and simply click on keys, it will open a ROX somewhere else in a different the folder of my choice. So